Of our convener, Gokul, what do you have to say about the Nuals parliamentary debate? How is it going? How are the things coming up?
It's going good, but we have arranged a lot of things for people, but people are just not showing up enough. So
how are you planning to tackle that situation?
We are posting on Octopus right now, trying live law as well. Hopefully that will scale up the registrations a little bit. It's a big miss for anyone who does not come.
Okay, then what can you offer for people? What is the USP for a student who is coming here?
World-class debating, complete adherence with WUDC debating procedures, great core adjudicators who have retired from adjudicating, coming back again just for us, like for example, I'm Sebastian. Tie up with the Binale Foundation for discounted tickets on the third day using exclusively our ID card, and a lot of exciting things including a DJ party. All for you.
Okay, we have with us the design team of Nuals parliamentary debate. Tell me guys, how is the designing, how does it work? How is it going on? Guys, I guess the design team is busy and they are not interested in giving their review or feedback. Meet Rahul Joseph Stephen. He has been the driver since day one for all the sponsorship activities we have done for Nuals parliamentary debate. Rahul, how was your experience working for Nuals parliamentary debate?
It was great because it was a concerted effort from each and every person in the batch, and the fact that I never felt like one of us was doing any less than the other. We were all putting the equal efforts, especially this woman right here.
I get to.
The lakhs and lakhs of money she has single-handedly managed to raise with her sponsorship spirit, which is very appreciable and commendable.
How do you feel driving for the entire event, the entirety of the sponsorship drive?
Because I'm the kind of guy who loves driving and I love spending time in the car. For that reason, I never found it as a chore. And I had people in the car to keep me company, and going out for sponsorship was kind of fun. And at the end of the day, seeing all the money come in, which will eventually help us a lot, really makes me feel good.
Do you think that there's something lacking in the sponsorship drive of this Nuals parliamentary debate, or what?
If there's anything, we haven't utilized the number of cars that we have properly, because we are the batch which has about 6 cars, and we haven't utilized it completely because it is barely 1 or 2 cars going out.
Tell me about the stalls. How is it coming up?
Stalls cancel.
Cancel you? No stalls? Okay.
And only non-appliance.
So what all stalls are coming?
Food stalls only.
Food stalls. Who all have agreed to come?
What?
Who all have agreed to come?
Booster Chaya, Monco. Yeah. And Momo Rimbochi.
How do you feel working for this NPD?
We feel good. We consider this as a great experience.
Thank you. Tinu, what do you have to say about Nuals sponsorship?
Nuals sponsorship.
How's it going, the NPD sponsorship?
Geetu and Parvati all the way.
All the way. What do you have to call up the registration calls?
The
Registration calls.
registration calls, what about them?
How's it going?
Only I am making. We need more help. And this woman.
Alisa, what do you have to say?
And
Oh, okay, Malavika.
And Anagar Ramnath is absent.
Okay, are you sick, Malavika?
Yes.
Okay, Tinu, go on. How many registrations have we gotten so far?
So far, we have filled 25 slots, from which one college backed out yesterday, so which puts us back in 24.
What is the ballpark figure that we're expecting?
Ballpark figure of what? Of
Registrations, yes.
We're hoping to reach 32.
32. A long way to go, let's see.
Gap briefing happens for 30 minutes. After which, we release the draws. Now this is how every debate session will progress. Okay? Throughout this whole event, there are going to be 5 open rounds. Then happens the break night, and then we have the break rounds. Okay? Which are going to be semi-finals and finals for open category, and just 1 finals for novice category. Okay? So for all these rounds, uniformly, this is what is going to be followed. There will be draws released. Draws released is where Maheshwar will release this tabby form, where everyone
गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। तो आज हमारे बैच का सबसे बड़ा इवेंट है जो कि हम ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहे हैं। हमारा पहला इवेंट है और इसको बोलते हैं नुआल्स पार्लियामेंट्री डिबेट। तो इसमें ना प्राइस पूल है 1.8 लाख का और हमारे पास इनफ रजिस्ट्रेशंस आ चुके हैं। काफ़ी सारे लोग हैं हमारे पास अभी, तो बच्चे आ रहे हैं। दे आर फ्यू मिनट्स लेफ्ट कि रजिस्ट्रेशन ओपन होने वाले हैं। सारी टीम्स आ गई हैं और हमने ना बहुत ही अच्छे से सारा कुछ ऑर्गेनाइज करा है। अगर पूरा ब्लॉग देखो, पूरा तुमको दिखाएंगे कि कैसे क्या हुआ है। आगे भी अगर आप कभी आ रहे हो तो इसको देख के आपको एक्सपीरियंस मिल सकता है कि कैसे क्या होता है नुआल्स में। और पूरी वीडियो देखना लास्ट तक, तो पूरी वीडियो देखना और मजे लो भाई। मिलते हैं लास्ट में। तो गाइस अभी ना रजिस्ट्रेशन चल रहे हैं, तो मैं सारा टाइम लैप्स में दिखाता हूँ पूरा रजिस्ट्रेशन का भी। उसके बाद अब मैं तुम्हें पूरा अपना प्रोसीजर पूरा प्रोसीजर दिखा दूंगा तुम लोगों को कि कैसे क्या होता है डिबेट वगैरह। थोड़ा बहुत एक्सपीरियंस है वो मैं तुमको दिखा दूंगा सारा कि गाइस। सो वी हैव पार्टिसिपेंट्स हियर। वी आर नॉट हैविंग आवर नुआल्स बस बिकॉज it's not working. सो गाइस फाइनली रजिस्ट्रेशन ओवर हो चुके हैं। हमने पूरा कर दिया फिनिश। रजिस्ट्रेशन सारे हो गए हैं। अप्रॉक्स 27 to 30 टीम्स आई हैं हमारे पास, जिसमें 66 पीपल्स के अप्रॉक्स पीपल्स आए हैं अभी हमारे पास, जो कि बहुत अच्छा है। और हमारे बैच का पहला इवेंट है तो हम बहुत ही अच्छे से कर रहे हैं इसको, ताकि आगे इमेज अच्छी बनी रहे हमारी। और बाकी मैं आपको अभी मैं एक डिबेट रूम में हूँ, इसमें मैं पूरा दिखाता हूँ। हमारे पास अप्रॉक्स 7 to 8 डिबेट रूम्स हैं अभी, क्योंकि आज क्लासेस भी थी तो उसके बाद हमें पूरा एडजस्ट करना पड़ा। तो अभी दिखाता हूँ। बाकी अभी रजिस्ट्रेशन के बाद हम फूड का पूरा हमारा लंच का कर रखा है, तो अभी इनको लंच करवाते हैं जो भी आए हैं। और पूरा एकोमोडेशन का है। अभी उनसे हम फीडबैक भी लेंगे, लास्ट डे पे, थर्ड डे पे फीडबैक लूँगा कि कैसा क्या था हमारा जो हमने एकोमोडेशन करा था, कैसा लगा आप लोगों को। और अभी ये पहला दिन है, Day 1 है। अभी Day 2 Day 3 भी है। और हमने Day 2 को हमने पार्टी का भी सब अरेंज कर रखा है बाहर। तो उसमें कपल्स तो फ्री में जा सकते हैं, वो गर्ल्स भी फ्री हैं। बाकी लड़कों को पैसे देने पड़ते हैं। हर जगह ऐसा ही होता है हमारे साथ, हमारी जाती है अच्छे से। तो मैं अभी तुमको डिबेट रूम दिखाता हूँ, फिर अभी लंच में अगर हो सका तो मैं दिखा दूंगा कि वो लोग फूडिंग वगैरह का हमने क्या सेटअप करा है, देखना। और आगे अगर आप लोग भी कभी आ रहे हो यहाँ पे डिबेट के लिए तो देखना कि कैसे अभी हमने करा है। आगे आओगे आपको कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी, क्योंकि हम चाहते ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा टीम्स आए हमारे पास में। और रजिस्ट्रेशन फीस भी हमने मिनिमम रखी है, मेरे को भी आइडिया नहीं है क्या है। और आगे मैं अभी और भी बताऊंगा। आप आगे कुछ इवेंट्स आ रहे हैं, अगर आप केरला से हो या फिर ऑल ओवर इंडिया से आप आ सकते हो नुआल्स में, तो आप आओ, पार्टिसिपेट करो। बहुत अच्छा होगा हमारे लिए, हम भी आपसे मिलेंगे, अच्छा होगा। इंटरेक्शन होगा हम लोगों का, अच्छे से बात करेंगे, तो फ्रेंड्स बनना जरूरी है। तो अभी आगे नालम आ रहा है, जो कि हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी का सबसे टॉप का इवेंट है। तो वो नालम पे हम हर बैचेस को इवेंट्स दिए जाते हैं कि कौन क्या क्या कंडक्ट करेगा। तो हम कर रहे हैं, हमारा जो इवेंट है वो है कोर यूनाइट। तो कोर यूनाइट की डिटेल्स मैं आगे दूंगा। अभी रजिस्ट्रेशन का कैसे क्या करना है वो भी बता दूंगा, बीच में क्लिप ऐड करके पूरा। जब मैं हो सकेगा तो मैं लिंक भी दे दूंगा डिस्क्रिप्शन में। तो अभी वीडियो देखो, बीच में आपको मैं बता दूंगा कैसे क्या करना है। तो चलते हैं अभी आगे। अभी सेमिनार हॉल में जाना है हमको, पूरा वहाँ का इनॉग्रेशन सेरेमनी दिखाऊंगा आपको पूरी। और तब तक के लिए एंजॉय करो वीडियो, शॉर्ट्स डाल दूंगा बीच में मैं, और मिलते हैं बाद में। सो गाइज ये है हमारा डिबेट रूम पूरा सेटअप, वो है एंट्री। यहाँ पे एजुकेटर्स बैठेंगे, पीछे रनर सब जो भी होता है नहीं बोल मिल रहा है मेरे को। और फिर वहाँ पे टाइम कीपिंग का है सब कुछ, 2 लोग टाइम कीपिंग के लिए हैं। फिर यहाँ पे ये टीम्स रहेंगी, ये पोडियम है, यहाँ पे स्पीकर, 4 टीम्स रहेंगी एक डिबेट रूम में। यहाँ से व्यू दिखाता हूँ मैं पूरा। ऐसे हमारे पास अप्रोक्स 6 to 8 रूम्स हैं। मैं सबका तो नहीं दिखा सकता, लाइक टाइम लैप्स में फास्ट करके दिखा सकता हूँ मैं सबका, बट जो डिबेट होगा मैं सिर्फ एक ही रूम का दिखा रहा हूँ, इसी का। ये सब है, दिखाता हूँ फिर मैं बाद में कैसे क्या होता है डिबेट। कुछ लोगों का पहला एक्सपीरियंस होगा तो उनको भी काफ़ी हेल्प मिलेगी, देखना। Now we are serving them food. So we have biryani in our food and other stuff with salad.
I'll just go ahead and give you guys a quick equity briefing. There is an equity policy on the group. All of you have to go ahead and read it. Make sure you comply with it. Okay. So, an equity policy will apply to every single participant in this tournament. This means everybody, members of the OC, members of CAP, adjuncts, debaters, TAP team, observers, anybody who is related to the tournament in any way is covered under the equity policy. It applies for the entire duration of the tournament, which includes during the rounds, between rounds, all interactions between participants in the context of this tournament, all mediums and platforms that is used by this tournament, including WhatsApp groups, Discord, Google Meet. If any of these are platforms we go ahead and use, all physical places, including the campus, the grounds, debating rooms, the living space, etc. Firstly, the general code of conduct, right? In your speeches, don't make generalizations or exhibit discriminatory behavior based on protected attributes. Protected attributes look like sexuality, caste, gender, religion, debating experience, etc. These are all things you should not be taking shots at during a debate or be mentioning for as an argument against a debater. Someone gay is not an argument that you should make, right? Don't use unnecessarily graphic language to illustrate arguments. It's not winning you any points to go ahead and describe what rape looks like in a room. It sort of just makes you a dick, and it is also something that will be equitied. Don't make personal attacks or use slurs against an individual. Once again, I'm thinking basic decent behavior. These are all things that you should not be doing. Don't pressure someone to do something they're uncomfortable with, including but not limited to sexual advances, drinking, smoking up. These are all things you should not be forcing anyone to do. Don't use reclaimed language unless you belong to a group. It would be easier if we all went ahead and didn't use any slur in this tournament at all, but especially if you're not part of a group that has reclaimed a slur.
The ORCOM to make sure that you get the links to join the group. This is where all important communication that will be sent digitally will be found. Please take 15 minutes to go through the entire document that has been sent onto the group. I will be giving a TLDR of it and be addressing any questions starting in 15 minutes. Utilize these 15 minutes to make sure that you go through the document. Excuses after that in terms of why you don't know the rules of BP debating won't really apply. You're being given this time especially so that you can familiarize yourself with the rules. So please make sure that you make good use of these 15 minutes. Is opening government, opening opposition, closing government, closing opposition, which means the order of speakers goes Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, which is the first speaker on opening op, Deputy Prime Minister followed by Deputy Leader of Opposition. This ends both the opening teams, then we move to the closing teams, right?
Debate bots. Okay. QSAT SNAS01, GLC Utopia,
Yeah.
GNLU Tropic Monkeys. Yeah. KIIT, Kochi KM, Kochi Kame, NLSIU, NLUJ, PES, Political Logics, Powerpuff Girls, that is Rushdun and Chinmay. Are they not here? Okay, so I'm going to assume they're here. They better finish it in time. RCL, the Tiffers, SIT crypto. Hi everyone. Theme slide 1. The second theme slide. The time now is 3:15. The debate will start at 3:30. The motion for this house reads: during an ongoing trial, this house will prohibit the media from reporting on the mental illness of those accused of crimes. Debate starts at 3:30. All the best.
सो हेलो गाइज, अब ना डिबेट स्टार्ट होने वाला है, तो मैं अभी पूरा प्रोसेस दिखाऊंगा कैसे क्या स्टार्ट होता है। तो इसमें अब मैं पीछे का फ्रंट बैक कैमरे पे कर रहा हूँ मैं, देखो कैसे है। तो इसमें एक होगा गवर्नमेंट ओपनर, गवर्नमेंट ओपनिंग, फिर अपोनेंट ओपनर, फिर अपोनेंट क्लोजिंग। ठीक है, गवर्नमेंट ओपनर, गवर्नमेंट क्लोजिंग और अपोनेंट ओपनर, अपोनेंट क्लोजिंग। इधर एजुकेट, इधर जजेस है, फिर रनर सब, फिर टाइम कीपिंग है, इधर मैं बैठा हूँ। तो फिर अभी डिबेट स्टार्ट होगा, फिर दिखाता हूँ वो पोडियम में बीच में, उसमें ना स्पीकर आएगा। ठीक है,
that means that lawyers and prosecution and defendant on both the sides are still fighting about this case in a court.
UI from you guys, if you have any, otherwise opening. Alright, starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. I think the first push from opening opposition is to say the right to information should be an absolute right. They never prove why right to information should be an absolute right in the first place, because of things like intellectual property laws that like literally protect sensitive information of individuals. You can literally have your mentality, get the so-called pay the salary of the, say for example, workers or their admin, need essentially money to come, like to flow through. Even say for example, the money you require to report on sensitive issues, go ahead and like.
We need to know that a very important part of like trials, whether they are publicized or not, is the jury, right? Juries are average, reasonable voters who have no expertise in the court of law and have no idea how law proceedings work, and they are expected to pass an opinion on the basis of how they understand as an average citizen.
तो भाई देख रहे हो ना, ये राउंड फर्स्ट चल रहा है अभी। अब मैं दूसरे रूम में जाता हूँ, उसका दिखाता हूँ कैसे चल रहा है। ये हमारा था लाइक, इसको हम स्मार्ट रूम बोल सकते हैं। अब मैं तुम्हें दूसरे रूम का दिखा देता हूँ पूरा कैसे क्या चल रहा है।
Into committing certain actions. I think this once again additional degree of nuance, it probably allows some more understanding of these communities, some better treatment of these communities and after the month as compared to their contraction, which then allows a greater public policy push. Because I think no two in terms of social movements and hence very, very proud to oppose.
We always see a bias when suppose the person is still in the trial, the person is accused, the person is not has been like granted a criminal state. So at that point of time, if the person gets back to the society, he'll always face a prejudice. He'll always face a polarization and an isolation, because nobody would like that person to mingle with that person, because that person has such a background where that person has been in a state where he was mentally unstable or mentally ill, and the person will always be in a state where he will be looked as a villain, or looked as someone who has been showcased in such a way. Not at when that thing.
तो भाई मैं ना अभी सिर्फ ये 2 ही रूम दिखा रहा हूँ। वैसे तो 7 to 8 रूम्स हैं, मैं नहीं जा सकता इतने रूम में एक साथ नीचे। तो मैं अभी एक ही रूम में हूँ और ज़्यादा लोगों को जाकर डिस्टर्ब भी नहीं करना चाह रहा मैं। तो अभी मैं एक रूम में जा रहा हूँ, उसी को तो मैं पूरा दिखा रहा हूँ जिसमें मैं पहले था। अभी मैं दूसरे रूम में जाकर तुम्हें बस दिखा दिया था थोड़ा सा कि दूसरा रूम कैसा है, क्योंकि सबसे अच्छा है मैं इस रूम। ठीक है, दिखाता हूँ बाकी।
Matters for them, because like eventually when the next election rolls up, they do not want something like the O.J. Simpson case being called out, and the fact that they are like and they do not want the fact that they are like connected to this case in like any way, right? Media houses also have immense money, and people who like run media houses are likely to be people in positions of power who will have a say in how the news is being like.
Hi, my name is Afreen, prefer pronouns she, they. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Panel, the entire government thinks that media checks and balances do not exist simply because they are capitalist in nature. They call them out on Twitter, on social media, and so on and so forth. But secondly, we think that liberal democracies, oftentimes and not, have so many rules and regulations in the kinds of content that actually can be out there and put there, and therefore, like these regulations are oftentimes and not are going to control the kind of sensitive information that opening government was talking about, but also like sensationalization of news essentially is something which we're going to talk about is going to be beneficial in our 70,000 law itself, right? But we think that the sensationalization of itself leads to things like portrayal of like emotional videos of you showing as to what mental health actually looks like, right? You showing this is what schizophrenia actually is. You
Speech in 3,
there is a huge mistake in this debate by all the houses so far, because they never analyze what happened, why there should be a difference in like publishing the report in like during the trial and after the trial, right? Because note that whatever CO says, right, that they want to create discourse about mental health, that's after the trial is done. So again, propose. Thank you.
You're audible to the complete panel, right? At the back house. Cool. So I'll be going as the opposition with no preferences for gender pronouns. You can address me using any set of pronouns, but rather to maintain the equitable distribution in this room, I strictly advise you, if you want to offer me POI, stick to my rule. Thank you for that. POI preference, do whatever the fuck you want to do till the time it's in equities and it doesn't violate equity. Bang the table, stand on the table, ask POI, whatever.
Don't stand on the table. I just recommend.
I would love to see.
Is someone operating this?
No, it's all
That's all. I'll begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Panel, the fact that CG's complete idea is hinged upon 2 points are you are going to influence jury, but B also something that they derive out of OG, that the consent is never taken, essentially why it's actually a harmful thing. Panel, understand once what does the idea of consent mean? Consent means that an individual who is in the mental well-being of understanding that whatever the course of action they're going to do is induce a harm on themselves or the societal, that is where the idea of consent arises. That is to say, a person in a perfect state of mind to acknowledge or reason or rationalize all of these things. At the moment of time when we are talking about mentally ill patients, they lose all sense of rationality.
Interesting discussion. And this is the way ranking goes. First 2 ranks are long diagonal with closing off taking a first and opening up taking a second. Third and fourth are the short diagonal with closing government taking a third and opening opposition taking a fourth. Okay, so I'll start with why I think opening up takes a fourth based on closing up, right? We don't think.
I would now like to take this opportunity to cordially invite the convener of the 7th edition of the Nuals Parliamentary Debate.
Respected Justice Day-1, Respected Vice Chancellor Justice S. Siri Jagan, Respected Register Sri Mahadevan NG, Mr. Hari S. Nair, Mr. Ravindran D, Ms. Sandhya Ma'am, faculty, students of this college, and contestants of the Nuals Parliamentary Debate. First off, I would like to welcome Honorable Justice Day-1 for graciously accepting our invitation to be the chief guest of this event. Day-1 sir has always been a person who's been a huge supporter of student initiatives. Even with such a busy schedule, he readily accepted this invitation to be the chief guest when we approached him. Referred to as a social justice crusader by many, Day-1 sir has always upheld liberal and progressive values inside the court and in his own life. As a person who has seen sir in action in court multiple times, and having seen the passion with which he delivers judgments, always keeping in mind the needs of the masses, I'm extremely honored and humbled to have gotten this opportunity to share a stage with such an esteemed individual. Welcome, sir. Next, I would like to welcome the Director, Center for Consumer Protection Law and Policy, Mr. Hari S. Nair, and our Faculty Coordinator, Mr. Ravindran D, without whose help and guidance, this event would not have happened. Welcome, sir. Next, I would like to welcome all the members of the faculty and administration who have helped us in every way possible over the past 2 months, let it be getting any sort of approval or guidance with respect to how to conduct an event. Welcome, everybody. I would also like to welcome the students of this college, without whose hard work and effort this event would have remained a distant dream. Welcome. Finally, I would like to welcome the core adjudicators of this event, Mr. Shivam Mitra, Mr. Anil Sebastian Pullikil, Ms. Shruti Dev, and Mr. Sayantan Bhattacharya. I also would like to cordially welcome the speakers and adjudicators of this event. We hope that you have an amazing 3 days ahead and go back with a lot of good memories which you will cherish. Welcome all.
Thank you so much.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Great honor to be here. I wouldn't have missed out this opportunity because what amazing things they talked about me. And you too. I was listening to what you were saying and I was wondering whether it was really me or somebody else. You have made not my day, perhaps my year, if not more. If this is the way you treat your chief guests, call me every time. But jokes apart, I'm a part of this family because I'm considered to be an adjunct professor, though I have not really bored the students here with too many classes. So I can't be a guest, I'm more a host. As I always say, I'm a true blue Kochiite. I was born and brought up here. So to all my young friends who have come from outside Kerala, welcome to God's own country and to the Queen of the Arabian Sea, as we call it. I'm sure you will have a great, great time. We are great hosts and we will prove it to you. Going to a serious note, when I was invited to be guest on a debating platform, I had no hesitation. And to that, I think Aravind was right. Apart from all the lies he said about me, that was right.
A bit of thanking everyone else. But since we are short on time, I'll try to reduce it as much as possible. So, from the little peek I've had into the world of debating, I think there are two things that stands out in any debate competition that we go to in the context of parliamentary debating. One is rationalizing your points, reasoning it out, and trying to assert it in the most rational and logical manner possible. And two, this is something I haven't seen in other forms of debating, is the importance that's given to things such as equity, creating safe spaces, etc., etc., etc. Now, I'll talk about two instances from what I've read about Day-1 sir on the internet, of course, sir, where he has personified these values.
Let's ban the internet.
So that's a fundamental right violation. Coming back, yeah. So last year, while I was interning at the Kerala High Court, there was some senior of mine who was interning under Day-1 sir. And she came excited one day and talked about the story that happened in the court, which became great news. One junior advocate accidentally called Day-1 sir while speaking in court. And if I read right, she immediately flustered and she got very nervous because the convention is to call any justice your lordship or your lord. But Day-1 sir said it's okay. You can call me sir. We have to put thought into these actions that we do repetitively. This very well implies something that we hold very close in debating as well. Before you follow
once we finish installation. Okay. This is our context slide. The GDPR is a data protection law in the European Union which forces companies to not collect or process certain personal information, but additionally requires that all the data generated be stored in data centers physically inside the EU. Separately, countries like China only permit social media platforms to be accessible to its citizens if the social media platforms permit governmental monitoring, intervention, and censorship. Okay. This is the context slide. With this, let's go to the motion. That's the theme. And your motion is, this House believes that international companies offering services on the internet, such as Google or Meta, should adopt
Let's just go with a round of introductions from the panel and all the teams. Panel.
Hello everyone, my name is Ravi and I'm Parliamentary.
Hi everyone, I'll be the trainee for this round. My name is Adya, I'm for Parliamentary.
Where is the opening up? Where is opening up? Are you guys opening up? Which side are you?
Closing up.
Okay, opening government, come here, closing up. Go there, opening up here, closing up there, please. You guys are? Okay, so you're sitting this way, right? Opening, close, opening, close. Okay, cool. Then it's fine. I will just opening government into which side?
Hello, I'm Nena Purdar and we are the opening government. The neutral gender pronouns will be preferred.
Hello, my name is Nikita and I will be I'm from the side of opening government and I will be the first speaker and gender neutral pronouns are preferred.
Thank you. Opening opposition.
Hi, my name is Kalini Krishna and I'm from the opening opposition. So, gender neutral pronouns.
Hello, my name is Kalini Krishna. I am from opening opposition and my pronoun would be she.
Closing government.
Hi, myself Ashwin Babu. I'm from closing government side. My preferred pronouns are he or him.
I'm from the closing government. I will be the second speaker.
My name is Aditya. I belong to the closing opposition. I prefer to be addressed by C session.
I am Arvind. I will be the closing government.
Okay, great. We'll be debating the motion.
Proposing today is that this House believes that international companies offering services should adopt same policies for users such as right to privacy, freedom of speech, and protection around the globe. So, before beginning, I would like to start with defining the stakeholders who will be affected. So, the stakeholders will be the individuals whose privacy will be affected and whose data will be shared. Secondly, it will be the companies. Next, the government and the countries who will be involved and the countries who are involved in the process. According to starting with defining the terms, I would like to define that what is privacy. So privacy is basically right to be let alone of an individual, or freedom of intrusion or interference. Basically, it is like if an individual is uploading some data, for example, on any social media sites or anywhere, this data should be protected and there should not be any misuse or.
Opening opposition. So, today what we are going to talk about is, as my as a PM already said, that she already talked a lot about the topic, right?
India during the 1975 emergencies, the ADM Jabalpur case. In that case, Justice H.R. Khanna, he mentioned that the state, they cannot take Article 21, that is right to life and personal liberty, from people, because the state is not the one that is granting them that right. The state is not granting right to life and personal liberty. The state is only an instrument that is helping them to further this right. These rights are inherent in nature.
I'll start with rebutting the claims given by Deputy. So firstly, she said like police officers have no role to play in making policy. Basically, they play a larger role in making.
As we all know, internet is the greatest of mass media we have as of now, and billions of population are on the internet, as we all know, are universally connected mass media, and with that universal application comes universal application of laws. The internet has its wide array of future avenues to go into, other than whatever turnarounds it has been creating in the past and in the future.
I'd like POIs to be asked on the fifth level, and also I'd like to tap in the fifth minute. Thank you. So I'll start it. So, talking about data protection itself, we've had the arguments provided by the opening comment, as well as the closing argument, as well as the opening opposition. So, talking about this, see, they've defined, the opening comment started by defining the term stakeholder itself. So, we are all stakeholders in anything that is relation to the internet itself. So, they've defined stakeholders using the terms such as individuals, companies, government, and others, which they told that so also the others which they haven't specified will also be involved within the parameters of the stakeholder, which.
And the GDR has been working extremely well in European Union. Now problems has been raised so far. So to better privacy aspect, we are introducing this GDPR in India. Then the opposition government had, opposition has told a point that there is diverse people are living across diverse nations, so different laws should be done. So in that case, India is a country.
And yours are the same, right? Okay, can you tell me why CG takes CEO, OO takes it over CG, and OG ranks first? So once again, to reiterate, our order is opening government first, opening opposition second.
Guys, so here we end our day 1 और हमने 2 राउंड्स भी कंप्लीट किए, जो कि बहुत अच्छे से हुए. सारे अपने जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स थे एकदम बेस्ट थे उन्होंने. मैंने भी आज रियल में देखा डिबेट कैसे होता है, बहुत ही अच्छा था. और अगर आपको हमारे जो यहाँ पे एक नालम पे होने वाला है उसमें अगर आपको पार्टिसिपेट करना है तो मैं डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिंक है, कर लो. 1 लाख का प्राइस पूल है उसमें. और बाकी डे 2 हम कल से स्टार्ट करेंगे, तो देखो भी एंजॉय करो. बोर होते हो तो फास्ट फॉरवर्ड करो.